Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Variety Sports Network. This is the Dugout Mug Studios. This is the 7th inning stretch.
Oh, well done, standing ovation. No, well done, standing.
I feel like we were supposed to do something there, Kelsey, but we missed the boat.
Yay, baseball! That's our thing,
right? Had you told me that I needed to stretch, I would have been prepared. But no one told me that I needed to stretch.
It's been that long since you've been on the show, Susie, that you forgot how the intro went.
That's true.
World
it's
Series,
just that thrilling every time.
I believe Game 3 last year was the last time Susie joined us at a live cast for a while. That was probably a long time ago. And with that said, we're here live Variety Sports Network on 7th Inning Stretch. I'm Darren Breyer. We got Josh Edwards here. We got the Bourbon and Baseball crew with us tonight. We got Susie and Kelsey out there. Susie, how are we doing tonight?
My team is at 500. I'm super.
You were doing good. And we talked. You were panicking a couple weeks ago. We'll get into your Astros here a little bit more with it. Kelsey, kind of good to finally meet you in person. I've listened to your guys' show for a while. How you doing out there? Just going through a move, busy, all that good stuff. But I appreciate you taking some time to join us, talk some baseball tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just telling you how I'm all over the map, both literally and figuratively, but here, a tried and true born and bred St. Louis Cardinals fan. Very happy to be in the company of Josh tonight, but I have just moved from Chicago, where I spent the last 10 years living a half mile away from Wrigley Field, nonetheless, to now I am 10 miles away from Citizens Bank Park in South Jersey. So I'm surrounded by great baseball wherever I go is really the point.
And out here near Oakland, my team, I will not have any baseball here in a little bit, but I will have to be stuck with those.
I'm wearing my. I'm actually wearing my.
Yes, I appreciate that episode you guys had there.
You'll have the Oakland Ballers.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's all right. It's all right, but not the same at all. All right. Hey, let's start with. I was going to get into duos, but I feel like with you both on, let's just start with where I was going to go next. So let's go with your Susie. Let's go with your Astros. Then we'll go to the Cardinals. Then we'll get to duos. Your Astros are currently on a 7-game winning streak. They've closed the gap, and they owe us to 4.5. Your negative Nilly attitude over the weeks have paid off. They've started to get hot. That's what happens as a fan, right? You're pessimistic. You said the season was over. They go home. Nobody show up to the stadium anymore. They have climbed back. Your guy, Jose Altuve, carrying a big load. Alvarez starting to heat up now. Your boy, Ronel Blanco, on absolute fire. Your Astros reach 500, Susie. Are we celebrating? How are we feeling out there?
We are celebrating. Like, I'm celebrating. The team is saying that, it's fine. We're here, but we're not letting off the gas. And that's an attitude that I appreciate. I am just happy that we are finally here because I didn't know if we were going to get here because it's just been that kind of season because we've lost 4,003 pitchers and we lost another one today. So it's just, I'm going to just be over here bubble wrapping all of our pitchers. So
was it you guys? I feel like when you guys did your last show, you did something on, was it maybe most overrated players? Like you were doing a survey on something like that. And was it Bregman? I feel like Bregman came up in that. The vote you guys had for him. I thought he was the most interesting one to me. He came up overrated because as somebody that just watches him, that's in the AL West for a while. To me, he's always one of the biggest pains in the butt over the years. So I found it funny that he was in that order. There's no way they would trade him, would they? They would not trade Bregman at any point.
Not now.
But I'm saying, isn't he one of those guys? He's not with Altuve. You don't feel like he's a lifer there?
I feel like he's going to go wherever the biggest bag is given to him for the longest amount of time.
Carlos Correa.
I don't think it's going to be the Astros that are going to give him that deal. I think we're going to give him an offer, but I don't know if it's going to be to his liking. And, he had Breggy Bomb Salsa, which was his original salsa company, whatever. And he rebranded it to Wild Soul, right before the season started. And I'm all, you just getting rid of Breggy Bombs, which was synonymous with, the Crawford boxes, the Astros, all of it. I'm like, what are we doing? Are we rebranding Breggy? Why are we rebranding? do you just not see yourself with the Astros anymore? And it kind of hurt my heart. And so now I'm all, no.
Even with the little kid video, Dad, take me to the batting cage. That warmed me up a little bit, Susie. Come on, a little bit.
Here, when I'm watching Knock Bregman on the Astros, I will say that I watched his daddy play baseball. But, it's adorable. It is adorable. But
so are they catching the Mariners? Are they catching them?
Oh, come on now, Darren. Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You think those bats can keep up with that pitching rotation?
You think whose bats can keep up with whose? I know you're not talking about the Mariners. Oh,
I think the Mariners rotation has one of the best rotations in the whole league as a whole.
Absolutely. But when the Marlins win a series over them, there's not too much we can do about that. Like how
many bad teams has your team lost to this year?
A bunch.
Okay.
But but what I'm saying is, can other teams outplay the Mariners? Absolutely. So the fact that they've also been sliding as we've been ascending, that's I can only do and cheer what's in front of me. But the fact that the Mariners have the most strikeouts in the league, come on now.
No, they do it. Kelsey, you've been on the ride with Susie the whole year. You've probably been in the wave there with it. How do you kind of put the Astros into perspective here?
Well, you know what? I think I was the perfect person to go on this journey with Susie after the 2023 St. Louis Cardinals season. I was just here to put it in perspective for her, to say, like, listen, I made it through. I'm here on the other side. I'm still, rooting for my team. I'm still having fun regardless. But I will say it's important to recognize that we have been talking a lot about the Astros, the in 2024, the 2023 St. Louis Cardinals. Like, on paper, you didn't really have like major concerns that they would at least be as bad as they ended up being. The good news is, Susie, that the St. Louis Cardinals in 2023 were only at 500 for one day, April 2nd of 2023, 3 days into the season. They were never above 500. So at this point, I feel it's safe to say, like, we can talk about the Houston Astros differently than the 2023 St. Louis Cardinals, and that alone should give you some hope.
Well, I will take it, because I remember looking up the record for the Astros last season, and we are ahead of schedule. And so I'll take it, because I see what we ended up with last season, and we have like a fully healthy position. Well, I say fully healthy. Tuck is still on the IL. Mm-hmm. But Altuve was out. Jordan was out for a little bit. So most of our position players are healthy. We don't have a black gigantic hole named Maldi. So it's better. We're not going to talk about our pitching. That's not what we're going to talk
and
about.
This is and you guys, the last couple of years, like, you guys have a chance. Like, the last year, the Rangers, they obviously at the end they choked, and then you guys this year, I feel like I said, like, the division's not that great. Like, it's just not a good division. And so you guys have the most experience. You have the best clutch hitters, and that's the thing. You have the most clutch hitters, and that's why, to Aaron's point, the Mariners always flounder. It's like, yeah, I agree, because I feel like, to Josh's point, or I disagree with Josh's, I don't think the Mariners pitching in a clutch situation would be able to beat the Astros. We can get into the Astros pitching here in a little bit when we get to duos, but in terms of that matchup, I don't like it. Josh, you feel differently? You think the Astros? You think the Mariners are the strong favorite before we move to the Cardinals here?
I wouldn't say they're the strong favorite. I think that they have them out of that division. Since they have the best pitching staff, they have a legitimate shot to win it, and I would put them as a slight favorite, but not a clear favorite by any means, because their offense is so abysmal at times. We'll see what they do at the deadline. If they can go get a couple bats at the deadline, then yeah, that's going to make them the clear cutaway favorite from the rest of that division. But again, the Astros could go get another pitcher and another bat too, and that would make it a lot more even. So it's going to be fun to watch these two teams go at it throughout the back half of the season.
Oh, absolutely. Aaron, I see your comment about Montero can be a starting pitcher. I don't want Montero anywhere near my starting pitching rotation. Absolutely not. I 94% of the time, I want Rafael Montero strapped to a rocket and like nowhere near any place that it can give up runs. Montero needs very low leverage situations and nobody on base. And that is the only time that none of my orifices are clenched when he's on the mound. Okay? If there is someone, if he gives up a single or if he gives up a walk, we're done. I'm done. It's over. And he's going to give up runs, and it's done.
Susie, on that note, do you still watch the games through the MLB app? Is that how you're still doing this through the pitch thing? Are you okay? So you're
absolutely.
At that point. The stress is too much still to watch it live. I got you. That was how I was in playoff games. I got you.
I even have to do it when I'm literally at the park because I want to see where the pitches are. Because depending on where you're sitting in the park, you definitely can't see where the pitches are, like you're thinking it's a ball when it's a strike and vice versa. Yeah. So I want to see it I need to see it in the little box. Like where is it? Because I need to pass judgment on all of the major league umpire staff.
They need somebody to hold them accountable. I agree. We need somebody to hold them. I just find that funny because the one that comes to mind is that one of the A's lost to the Royals. They were up like 5-0 that wild card game. It was one game, and then the Royals came all the way back and beat them when Lester was started for us that one year. And I was like, I can't. My wife's like, you can watch it. I was like, I can't watch it. I got to watch it on my phone. She's like, nah. And so I can relate to that with it. I can hear you with that. So the Astros, like you said, I think you guys are in a pretty good spot. Seems like now you've kind of come to that realization where you're ready to go with it. How about to the other team, the co-host, your other team, you're on fire here. The Cardinals, they've kind of come back to life a little bit. The Brewers I picked them to win at the beginning of the year. They're kind of, I don't know about World Series or all that, but the Brewers are a very good regular season team. They've proven that over the last few years. The Cardinals, to me, I will always say they are just the biggest pain, and that they will always be there. They will find a way, and they will just be an annoying team about it. Then get to the World Series, and they figure it out. And so what are you thinking, Kelsey? You seem like you're an optimistic person here with it. Are you feel like the Cardinals, it's 6.5 games is reasonable here? What do you feel there?
Well, you're right that I am overall an optimistic person, an optimistic fan. That's just who I am. But I've also been a Cardinals fan for long enough to know, just like you said, to never count them out. Now, I will say that the main thing that the Cardinals and the Astros have in common for sure is mediocrity in the division and no clear winner in the division, right? So this is the number one reason why the Cardinals absolutely have a chance to get into the playoffs, maybe even win the division. And I'd really like to see them make up as much of that ground and close the gap before the trade deadline here so that our blood pressure is just a little bit healthier day to day as Cardinals fans. I'm sure that other people here can agree with me, but I do think that they have a chance to win the division, and it's kind of along the lines of what you were saying to Susie about the Astros, where they have the most experience. They, on paper, have the most clutch hitters. And the main thing that I think is important to point out in relation to the Brewers specifically is, I think I said this before with Susie on our show, but I believe that the Cardinals have a higher floor than the Brewers do. And I believe that the Cardinals have been playing close, if not at their floor, for a good portion of the season. And if that can even out, and it always does over 162, I do anticipate that it will be very close at the very least. But I do hope that they can get ahead and make it count.
Yeah, you're right. The Brewers are an interesting one there. They're just kind of there, right? They have you're right, Hoskins. That's a good point about them maybe peaking alert. You have Hoskins that's been good. The rookie there that's been pretty good for them. He's been exciting. You got that inside the Parker the other day on the air. Josh, fellow Cardinals fan, what's your thoughts on those takes there?
You guys basically covered it. I mean, the Cardinals always have a chance because they're the Cardinals. I'm not getting my hopes up by any means. What they've done the last 40 games, my question is it sustainable at this point?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the young kids are coming up and they're figuring it out. They're getting some tutelage from a couple of the vets in the locker room. If Arenado finds it and Goldschmidt continues to get hot at the rate he's getting hot right now, the Brewers are in trouble. And I think almost anybody in the NL is going to be in trouble. Could be. The Dodgers like to choke in the playoffs, so they don't really scare me. I think the Phillies are the clear-cut favorite with the best all-around team right now.
Agreed.
And if they do anything to improve, I don't see anybody getting through the Phillies for the World Series. to get out of the NL to get to the World Series. But I'm trying to keep everything for myself in perspective, and just hoping for a wild card spot. And I hate to say this because I'm so against this line of thought, but with the way our season started, let's just get in, baby. Let's get in and see what happens. Like, that's just where I'm at this year.
I am so with you, Josh. And I hate that. I am rooting for any level of mediocrity, because what we really want, right, is for the NL Central as a whole to be more competitive. Like, they all need to level up to challenge each other, because any one of those teams this season was one or two moves away from running away with it. I mean, at least much more than what is happening now. And sure, it makes it exciting. It's like nail biting and more people are invested till the end. But at the end of the day, like, nobody wants to watch mediocre teams duking it out and then get lucky in the playoffs. We would much rather see a team that has been strategically put together to be competitive all season long.
What are you talking about? I had a blast watching the D-backs and Rangers last season.
I mean, I did too. Don't get me wrong. I'll be there.
I think when it comes to the Central, my whole thing is, if these front offices get smart and they hold on to all this young talent they've all accrued, the NL Central is going to be the NL East in 3 or 4 years.
Good point.
And that's just what it's going to be. There's so much young talent across the board in the Central. If Pittsburgh doesn't start shipping off their pitchers again, they should be okay.
Yeah.
The Brewers have a bunch of good young talent. If Cincinnati could find a way to be consistent with their young talent, they'd be a threat. Chicago, because they have money and they're willing to spend and have had a couple good draft picks and can go out and supplement on the free market, they should be fine too. If the Cardinals front office just could remove their heads out of their rear ends, they'd be in a much better position too. Stop trading away Gallen and, Sandy Alcantara. And Randy Arozarena right now is looking okay because he's having a horrible season. And
right.
Liberatore, pitched beautifully yesterday for the first time in his career. So I don't know. It may come together, but I'm looking forward to like 3 years from now for the NL Central to be the cream of the crop of the MLB.
Well, speaking of 3 years, what do you think, Kelsey, of kind of my part two down here where I have, should the Cardinals already think about signing Mason Wynn? I just said Ronald Acuna. That's the first name that they signed him to an early contract. The Cardinals don't strike me as a franchise that would do that, but I don't know. They also strike me as a franchise, as that isn't going to go out and spend $350 million on a free agent. So maybe they keep a guy like Wynn for 10 years on $200 million. I don't know. Do you think that there's a world the Cardinals do something like that, or no chance?
It would be out of character. The reason why I think that it could potentially happen is because, as I'm sure Josh has talked about, they are certainly in flux and in a position to start evolving. I mean, they'd better be, because that's kind of my number one complaint with the Cardinals front office as a whole, is that they're like kind of behind the times. They're slow to evolve. They don't catch on to the trends until they don't ever catch on to the trends, to be honest, with what's currently happening. And so while I don't think that's necessarily like a trend per se, it's just not something that the current administration would typically do. But that being said, I do think they are looking to take a different approach overall in more ways than one. And maybe this could be a way that they do it, because I certainly think it could work in their favor.
Susie, what do you think of the Cardinals here? You've obviously been, you guys talk about it and on a weekly basis here. You've heard Kelsey's thoughts throughout the year on it. Your baseball. What do you think, or all the baseballs, I should say? What do you think about the Cardinals there?
Well, from the get-go, that starting rotation is, smells of Ben Gay and, all of, all of the arthritic medicine.
It's the AARP.
Not short on vibes.
Rotation.
Not short on vibes. I mean, I will take Lance Lynn vibes all day, every day. But, I mean, I say this, but you got Kyle Gibson going out there almost every start, giving you a quality start and eating up innings. I think I would give my right arm to have a reliable pitcher like every 5 days at IBL. I know that he's going to give up 3 runs, but he's going to pitch 6 innings and he's going to be out there. Like, I would love that, to know that, because at this point in time, I really only have like the one. I'm all absolutely just the one. Absolutely. And everybody else, I'm all, it's a coin flip. Which one are we going to get today? So, I jest about the Cardinals rotation, but it's proven.
Yeah.
You got those guys that can eat the innings. Now, is it a is it a World Series contending rotation? I don't think
If
it
they
is.
play the Giants, maybe. If they play the
What?
Giants.
Works for me.
Well, and there is not a single Cardinals fan, Susie, that would argue with you even a little bit. Like, no way.
Not even the dudes that are paid by the team to cover the team.
Right,
We're going to argue with that
right.
statement.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it will be. You guys are like I said, they're always right there. And again, kind of like Susie's Astros. I feel like you guys. That's why it's kind of funny that, like I said, like the date you guys are coming on today, they kind of both are on these kind of making these runs like they usually kind of do. We'll see where they hit at the All-Star break, where they kind of move into August. We get to the dog days, and then there's going to be a big push. But you have two teams at the top of the division in both the Central and the West that most fans would think as floundering franchises when it comes to money games. So we'll see if you guys can overtake those teams. Speaking of the pitching, you guys were kind of starting to get to, maybe it's a good transition into what I kind of want to get into next. We can take this in all areas with it, but I've been thinking about this thing for like a couple, this has actually been transitioning for me like about a month, like who's the best duos, but then you kind of, it goes on and you kind of changes throughout it. So this week I was like, all right, I got it set. Who do I got? This is who I have as the top two at the bottom. You'll see at the ticker. I'd put my top 20. Don't have to go through it, but just there for information. I went through it. So it was an assignment. It was a homework, Josh. Relax. All right. So I did it. And
I just can't believe you went that deep.
I did. I had to get it. I was interested in it. So anyways, with that said, I kind of the basis I had for it, though, was it can't be like a Garrett Cole or like a Verlander. It's kind of been out most of the season that we know prototypically is going to be the ace most of the time. Maybe you could say Paul Skeens shouldn't be in there, but I feel like he's gone enough now to where I can put him in the top. The Pirates maybe in the top 10 as a duo. So that's a different thing than like your three. So like, yeah, of course the Rays have three guys that if they had the top three, they would be number one maybe or number two. But I can't put Max Fried maybe in there yet because of how good Sale and Lopez has been. So I don't know, like Susie, your Astros, like Blanco was the funniest case to me. I was like, where the heck am I going to put the Astros? They have this guy that's a stud, and then I can't even find. They have like three guys that are eligible for the ERA. So I hear you on that. What do you guys think? Let's start with you, Kelsey. Number two, I had your guy that used to be with you, Jack Flaherty. I got them in Scooby Snacks at number two. What do you think of that over there?
That's my hard pick. I think they are the best, Tarek Skubal and Jack Flaherty. So they have the lowest combined whip of any two starters on the same team. They also have the most strikeouts combined for any two starters on the same team. I also think like they're just at that age too, where they're reaching their full potential, but they still have a lot of good years left. So to me, yeah, they're like my solid number one pick. It's also a guy in Tarek Skubal who you kind of expected it from him. You were excited and we were anticipating him having another season to continue to build upon with paired with a guy like Jack Flaherty, who is really having a comeback year and we're seeing new stuff from him. So yeah,
I was about to say, because
like the most
this season, Jack Flaherty and last season, Jack Flaherty are not the same Jack Flaherty at all. So, but like, that's my question though. Is this Jack Flaherty sustainable?
I feel like he had the ace potential his whole time. Like there were like we talked about fantasy baseball. He was a keeper like by the league for like there was years where he had the potential for that. And he has 102 strikeouts right now. And for me, when I watch him pitch, it was always the issue before is he had no control. He lost his control there for a while. And he was at like 85 pitches in like 4 innings. Like I feel like he's way more locked in. And I think having Skubal there is in some ways, right? Like if you have like somebody there to help balance you off, you lose a game, you have him to kind of pick you up. I don't know. I think that's a good call. Like you're right. We could have had him one. That's a good call there. I like that.
He looks completely different though, and you're so right that he has always had the stuff, which is why it's been so frustrating for Cardinals fans to watch him, like knowing that the potential is there. And he appears to get in his own way a lot, and his emotions get the best of him too at times. So you like to think that that's something that we're certainly seeing less of it, whether it's just because he's performing or if that's something that he's gotten a hold on that has then affected his performance as well.
Susie, what do you make of like you can stay on that too with the with Tigers if you want as well? You touch on that, but what do you kind of make is like? Do you have a different number one? I had the Dodgers number 3, but it's not. It's Gavin Stone and Tyler. Was it Logan Glasnow? I always forget. Glasnow will be there. I got Corbin Burns, Rodriguez. Where do you kind of in my top 5? I had Castillo and Gilbert. That could have gone a lot of ways. Number 5. So what do you kind of make of that? The duos here.
Well, What really cracks me up is that you have the Phillies as the number 1 duo, but it's not your typical
Right.
Aaron Nola,
Yeah,
Wheeler, because that's when you think Phillies, Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez are not the names that just
No.
automatically pop into your head. I mean, like it should be because those two are the, like the best pitchers on the staff. But it makes me giggle because the fact that they're technically quote unquote like the third and fourth pitcher, but not really, And so, I mean, I love it, and I mean, we talked about Ranger Suarez last week on our show that we think that that the Phillies need to go and lock him up as well. And, because they just I was like, why did they give Christopher Sanchez money? Why aren't they giving Ranger Suarez money? Like, what's going on? So, I love that for them.
Yeah, they definitely.
I kind of don't, but I do. I never begrudge players getting their bag, especially when they're doing well. It kind of sucks about Spencer Turnbull though. I was sad to see that he went on the IL.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish the Tigers had some sort of offense besides, like Riley Green and Matt Vierling, because I would really love to see the Tigers with like some actual offense, especially behind these pitchers, because that would be fun.
No doubt.
The Gavin Stone is the interesting one. I mean, Tyler Glasnow, obviously, there. Yamamoto is whatever. So there's just, I don't know. Like overall, I don't know if there's duos per se that I would definitely outline, but definitely like standout pitchers in and of themselves. So.
Sevy was in the top. He was number 21. I could give that. I have the tribal chief, Sean Manaea. I couldn't put him in there with it. Sorry there. The Royals, I had them number 6. That was not expected at the beginning of the year. Seth Lugo.
Yeah, no one expected Seth Lugo. Yeah. Like, who had Seth Lugo on their bingo cards?
I was throwing shade at Seth Lugo in the offseason, and I am eating my words.
Did you guys not pay attention to him in fantasy last year?
Well, Kelsey didn't play fantasy last year.
This is the first year I did baseball, so no, I didn't have that perspective.
Okay. So I was one of the few people who, when Seth Lugo signed with Kansas City, I was like, Kansas City's going to be a threat. Because I had him on my team last year in fantasy, and the dude just racked me up points left and right. He would come out of the bullpen. He would start. I was like, the guy's versatile. He's different than everybody else. He's a good pitcher. I mean, he's not a great pitcher. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not that high on him. But Susie, you are somebody who I thought would have not been surprised by Lugo, to be honest, just because you are so in depth on the players and you know where guys stand. Like, I thought you were with me on that one.
Unfortunately, I missed the one, Josh. I'm so sorry. I will.
You're not perfect. Nobody is.
Come on, Susie. Yeah. How about the one that to me I just want to get into duo here is in your central guys, Skeens and Keller. I mean, that's a good duo. I stuck them to number 9. Mm-hmm. Paul Skeens. I mean, it's the real deal. I mean, I need
you guys to give Jerry Jones a little bit of love. Though.
Yeah,
okay?
They are really a power
trio.
He is, but right now this season. I got you.
I know, and but Mitch Keller has been there, and I'm glad that the young guys have the tutelage of Mitch Keller. But I feel like now that Skeens is up, Jerry Jones is all. I'm here too. Did y'all forget about me? Okay.
We feel for Jared Jones. We do. We want to make sure that he gets his screen time, Yeah,
Mr. Skeens is taking a lot of his time for sure.
I mean, as he should, because he is ridiculous and just living the best life over there with, being able to pitch the way he does and then going home to Livy Dunn. Like, sir.
I love how all the little leaguers are now are like, that's the best part of Paul Skeens. Like, you're like, oh man, I forgot what being 12 and 13 was in the summer. I forgot about it. It's not who you're with.
I missed those days.
How about Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray? I had a number 10. I mean, come on.
They're too high.
That was a tough one, but then I had Webb and Hicks number. I don't know. Like Sonny Gray though is the one carrying the most weight, obviously.
That's the thing. I actually have on my list. I have Sonny Gray and who, because you got to call out Sonny Gray. He has 103 strikeouts. He has the 4th lowest batting average against him. Batters are batting just 191 against him. He has 11.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. Like he is underrated. He really has been for the majority of his career, and maybe it's because of these kind of fluke seasons or different consistencies in his performance with different teams. But Josh, I want to ask you, Sonny Gray and who? Are we getting a starting pitcher if we're still on track to, make magic happen here by the deadline? And who is it going to be? Because he is definitely a strong enough number one to make it happen with the right number two. But I don't know, without having another starter that has, right now we have no other starter that has under a 3.5 ERA, and Kyle Gibson is outperforming expected statistics. I don't know if he's going to hold up as that number two.
No, I completely agree with you. I think they're going to go get a starting pitcher. I just think it's going to be another 4.
Rich Hill?
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, that's exactly what Mosaic
I've been waiting for it all year.
One of his signature moves. They need to go get a legit 3 at least. Like, that's what they need to go do. A guy who goes out and throws 6 every night. The problem with Gray that I have, the dude throws 80 pitches and he pulls himself out of a game. This, to me, is a problem for the money he's getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he was only making like 15 to 18 million a year, yeah, I don't care as much. Like, I'm perfectly fine with the 11 strikeouts for every 9 innings, but he's only pushed the edge of 8 once this year. And again, he only threw like 90 pitches that game. So I know they're guarding him. Like, that's the news out of St. Louis. I don't know how much St. Louis radio you get to catch, but they are. I would totally leverage Arenado for a starting pitcher right now. In a heartbeat, I would do it. And I love Arenado, but I need a pitcher.
And Kelsey's like, absolutely not.
But I am also just like, it's not, there's no logic attached to this at all. But I am so sad that we have not been able to get Goldschmidt and Arenado deep into the playoffs on this team. And so that's the part of me that just is like, yeah, I know it's logical. I know it makes sense. It hurts me.
Well, the one year they had the chance, they didn't go get another true starting pitcher when they should have.
Yes.
And then they screwed up the playoffs and had the wrong guys pitch. And then everybody choked. So, and then Helsley got a blister and couldn't close a game out. I mean, it was a combination of things. And that was kind of the start of the Cardinal downfall. But no, they got to go get a real, at least number 3, somebody who eats innings, somebody who's got some kind of strikeout stuff. The ground ball pitching philosophy that they've induced over the last 5 to 6 years is not working out. I think they've finally accepted that.
Right.
But what are they going to do? Who are they willing to give up to go get it? You're going to have to give up, Graceffo, Thompson, maybe Jerpy. You may even have to trade Davis to go get him. I don't think Tink Hintz is going to go anywhere. I don't think they're going to let Tekoa Roby go anywhere either. So it's going to be a package deal if they're going to go get something. But Arenado would help sweeten that deal up. Unfortunately, Edman got hurt, so that's going to take away his trade value because now his rehab's been pushed back a little bit. The other thing that's
what happened to his ankle?
He rolled it taking ground balls, I guess.
Yeah.
At least that's the thing I read. I don't know if it's
Don't
accurate.
forget how John Mozeliak was still able to leverage Bader. I'm so afraid. Like, I'm the biggest Tommy Edman truther, and I'm very afraid that Tommy Edman could still be on the block.
Okay, hold on. You have to get rid of one. Edman or Donovan. Because they're the same person. They're the same player.
They're not. Oh,
they are.
They are.
They both can play absolutely anywhere. They both. I mean, I think Donovan's got a better bat. He's got more pop than Edman. I think he's got a better bat.
Yes.
But they both can play anywhere, and I love Donovan. I love Edman. But if I got to trade one, I'm keeping Donovan, and I'm leveraging Edman out there as quick as I can to go get pitching.
I know that you're right, Josh. Oh wow. My emotions.
I've never heard a woman tell me I'm right.
Especially. Listen, I can see both sides of everything, but I do. Heart and head don't always agree, but especially considering seeing Michael Ciani play in center field too has also, I don't want to say it's lessened how impressed I am by Tommy Edman's ability to take over that position and his value in being able to do that. But I'm less concerned, I guess, about having that even as a late inning defensive replacement. And of that, I mean, that was such a solid plan that I think I was really attached to at the beginning of the season. But the fact that it doesn't even have a chance to start to play out before the deadline is, I need to let it go.
Like I would trade I think we could leverage Siani out and keep Edman. I really do because he's so good defensively, but he can't hit his way out of a wet paper.
You guys have like the worst center field WAR like by a ton. It's like not even close this year.
It's like, because nobody can hit.
It's like I feel like the position I read that like maybe it's a couple of weeks you guys have changed now, but it was like
Jose Fermin is like our offensive weapon off of the bench. It's problematic to say the least.
The duo I wanted to bring up, I think, could jump in real quick to the top like 10, maybe higher. I just think potentially wise, I wanted to mention before we move on is Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez. I feel like they kind of got off. I feel like they can make a big run to that top like 5. We'll see how they. But then the Guardians are a weird one too because you have McKenzie and BB there, and they're like kind of I don't know where to put them. They were like the weirdest one. I'm like they have like almost the best record. I don't know, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust Tristan McKenzie at all with his broken elbow that he's holding together with glue and hopes and prayers. I don't know why they wouldn't say, why don't we get you like the internal brace? Like why do we keep insisting on him pitching? I don't know. I'm mad at Pablo Lopez though, so I have him on my team. And yes, he struck out 14 Athletics the other day and got me a lot of points. But like the 3 starts before that, he got me minus points because he just got shelled. And I'm all, why? Like where Pablo Lopez? Where did you go wrong? What happened? So he's slowly getting back to the Pablo Lopez that we expect, but he's on my not nice person list right now.
Your hit list, as we say here. Speaking of a hit list here, trade candidates. What do you think about Vlad Guerrero? He's starting to heat up a little bit here. He's starting to hear more rumors about it. You hear his dad come out and say, "Well, I don't think he meant to mean like he wouldn't go to the Yankees." Like so you have like kind of that him saying that as well. I put some of the obvious teams down there at the bottom. I can see him kind of going to, but I think those are the most realistic teams as well. I mean, there's probably a surprise team out there that could make a run at him. Do you guys actually think that? The Blue Jays, to me, are just the weirdest team in the league. I can't get any read on them at all. It doesn't seem like a franchise that I could see Vlady saying, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you kind of make of that, Josh? You think Vlady ends up with your Cardinals? You think he ends up with the Yankees? Or you think he finishes it out the year and then they make something happen in the offseason?
That's the part I'm not sure about because I don't know what the Blue Jays are going to want in return.
He's
going to get traded.
Oh
yeah, I know it's a lot. I'm just not exactly sure how much is a lot. That's the question.
Well, the Yankees have you got to look at the prospects. The Yankees have a lot to offer. That's why I think.
Yeah, but the Yankees like to hoard prospects, though.
They do,
which is smart.
Not give up the guys that you're all. I want that guy, and they're all. How about this one? No, okay, we're just going to keep him then.
I think he should go to the Mariners. That's where he should go.
I do not think he should go to the Mariners.
Nothing against you. I'm just saying, if it's for the Mariners, like that's the team that, in my head, they need him the most.
Yes, agreed.
Like they need him the most. They have enough assets to go trade off, in my opinion, to trade out to get him. But I mean, I don't see the Braves doing it by any means. I don't see the Red Sox doing it. I don't see the Rangers. The Cardinals aren't going to have enough to give up. So I think it's the Yankees, the Mariners, or the Cubs.
What do you guys think there? What do you think, Kelsey?
I don't think he necessarily makes the most sense for the Cubs, but for some reason he seems like a fit there for me, and that they might be in it enough that it would be worth it before the deadline, and they could be in a position to lock him up for sure. I totally agree with Josh that he makes the most sense to go to the Mariners. And I also think he could be a really interesting and exciting fit for the Red Sox, who I wouldn't mind seeing make some noise and close the gap with I don't want them to overtake the Orioles, just the Yankees.
Yeah. I hear you. Susie, you got a feel on Vlady? Or you think he's Toronto for life? You think something happens there?
I don't think he's going to Toronto. I mean, the head says the Mariners make the most sense. The heart says abso-freaking-lutely not. I think, I don't know. Vladdy's not the guy that I've been thinking about for the Blue Jays. I've been thinking about Bo Bichette going to the Dodgers.
And don't say that.
Yeah, like they need a shortstop, and they've got the trade capital to do that.
So do you think Bo Bichette's better than Vlady then, or do you think he's more tradable? Like, how do you look at them? Because Vlady has struggled at times. Like, he has like the power numbers, but do you have Bo Bichette one of the person you'd rather have?
I think Bo Bichette's a little bit more versatile.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that Dodgers lineup needs a little bit of youth.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that outfield is young, but it's the outfield and they're not doing great anyways. But I don't know. Vlady to me just seems like not a Mariner.
What's up, Jim?
But, you know, maybe I don't know if he'd go to the Yankees though.
Nobody mentioned the Giants here, and the Giants at some point have to get somebody. I mean, they are like literally a middle class right now.
I don't
think the Giants never do it in off season. They're not going to do it in the off season. Through a trade is probably their best chance to get somebody. Vlady Guerrero is not at elite level right now, where he's hitting 30 home runs at the break. I mean, they have the lefty. I can't think of his name right now. Harrison, I think it is that they have Luciano. They have I don't know. There is no reason to go to a Giants game out here. I live an hour away, but there's no reason for me to go to watch mediocre baseball. Like, there is no star power.
Doesn't excite you?
Nobody excited. Mason Miller. That's the best thing in the Bay Area we have as star power. So that's who we have. But they don't win much. So there you go. So then you have the Giants, and they are as mid as it gets. They are as mid as it gets. That to me is where he needs to go. Like, if I was the Giants,
but I don't think Vlady getting added to the Giants makes the Giants a contending team. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still missing.
But I think that's where he could go more. If I was the team, I agree with you. I think they're missing something, but they are missing.
Oh, they're missing lots of something.
They have no star power. There's nobody there that's going to draw them to. Logan Webb is not enough to take you to a game 6.
Right.
It's not enough. I mean, they have to get a star there at any cost. So, but I hear the Yankees to me is like, Soto. It's like, what are we doing here? We got Judge too. So that would be kind of insane. I feel like if the Dodgers aren't going to waste prospects on a trade for Bichette when Mookie's coming back relatively soon there, Susie.
Okay, but I mean, really though, I guess Lux has been better, but really, why wouldn't you get an actual shortstop that plays shortstop all day, every day, and then move Mookie back into the outfield, back into right field, right? Or because isn't Jason Hayward out for a while too?
Yep.
So I mean that outfield is not producing what like Pajes was doing all right. I mean, they got Kevin Biggio to do what?
Yeah.
Be there. It's
his dad's
namesake.
He's actually been all right with them. Better than he was with Toronto.
Oh yeah.
People were saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see him on the Astros." What are we going to do with him? Like, no, okay, but I don't know. It makes a little bit more sense to me, I guess, in my head for the Dodgers and to move Mookie back to a position where he was comfortable. That's just all I'm saying.
So I see Susie's point. I don't agree with it, but I completely understand where you're at. Like, I completely get it, and part of me agrees with you because the Dodgers do stuff that they don't necessarily have to do anyways.
Right.
But I just don't think that's going to happen is where I'm at.
Right.
Like, I completely see the argument. Like, I'm not against the argument, but
they always make a splash, though. The Dodgers.
That's why I'm saying they could do.
They do. Hanley Ramirez 9 years ago. They get shortstops. They get Turner. They make something happen. Like, they've proven that they will buy pieces, and they are like the one franchise that's like, oh, we got another top 5 prospect, and we got another one. And it's like every year, it's like, do they just have like a good marketing team, or I don't know what happens? Like, they just it seems like they always have. As soon as they trade 3, like, what was the trade they made for Turner? They traded what was it, like all these prospects to the Nationals, and it ends up they have 5 more a week later that are in the top 10. Yep. So it's kind of crazy how they end up working with it. So to me, he's just a big fish. Well, interesting what's going to happen with him as we kind of move through the deadline. All right, as we kind of get to the 6th inning of the show here, standings check, Judge up to 30. These are kind of just some of our notes I have from the standings. We talked about obviously kind of the West a little bit with Susie's Astros, a little bit the Central there at NL. Some of the other divisions, we have the Yankees. We talked about them. He's up to 30. Does Judge get 35 by the All-Star break? Duran, I think he's my Corbin Carroll of last year. He might be my new favorite player this year. This guy is exciting. He is when he's up, I'm watching him play. On defense, he's exciting. So it's real. My son's getting into baseball. For some reason, his Red Sox is his favorite teams. But anyways, that's a problem in itself. But I have to deal with that. But
he loves something wrong with him.
I did, but he loves video games, and Durant is helping him. So he likes baseball. That's all I care about, Josh, at this point. He's good there at that. So I took that as kind of a note. We'll see what you guys kind of mentioned that. Will the Red Sox make a jump a little bit? I still believe Atlanta can catch Philly. I want to get this up on the screen. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is what kind of happened right before we got in the air with Bryce Harper.
That's it. A heck of a career for him. This one's to the right side, gobbled up by the second baseman. Lopez throws to Scott on the run. That's
no.
Bryce's game. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
He said he's never felt any pain like that before in his life.
So he goes down.
What did I just watch?
And
What?
I had no idea. You just ruined baseball.
Schwarber got hurt in the 8th, too.
Yep. So they are down big time injuries.
You guys, I have to go. Bryce Harper lives like 5 miles from me. I need to go check on him.
Do it. Go. Then come back and tell us how he's doing.
What body part on Bryce Harper got hurt? Was that his shin,
left
his
hamstring,
foot?
left hamstring.
Yeah. Oh, yikes.
Logan Stone predicts it's a torn ACL.
No, it definitely looked like a hamstring.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it's not very serious and will be very time consuming. More importantly, that when you said here comes Bryce Harper, I was like, here's another home run. Let's go.
Sorry, Kelsey.
Right
before he came
They
on,
did not prepare us. They did not prepare us well, Kelsey.
Wait,
we didn't prepare you for much tonight, Susie. We kind of shock and awed you since you jumped on.
I'm telling you, all my flabbers are gasted. I have no more flabbers to give. They're all
that
spent.
means you got to come on more often, dear. That's all.
Obviously.
And it's crazy though with the standings that changes the East. So that's why I had it. That's why I kind of brought Atlanta. Could they catch them now? Like I'm just saying, Atlanta's kind of how I talked about your two teams before. I kind of feel like they're never out of it. So that injury with Schwarber changes a lot.
Atlanta lost to the White Sox today, and they just lost a series to the Cardinals.
All right.
Okay, so how many pieces of furniture / things did Chris Sale ruin there in what is Chicago's? What is Chicago's field? What is that?
Guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed rate. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
I need to know, because how do you take the L in a game where you went 7 and struck out 11 and you lose 1-0? I need to know what Chris Sale freaking ruined at guaranteed rate.
Hopefully he learned not to break anything, because every time he does, he ends up hurting himself.
Yeah.
How mad do you think he was?
Mad. Real mad.
Mm-hmm.
Real mad.
Trust the Twins or the Royals more?
We are
Royals.
a Royals podcast, so yeah. I say
Royals there for sure. And then my favorite one, do we trust the Cardinals or the Astros more?
Oh man. I think if Stewie and I could just, if we could get Dana Brown and John Mozeliak together and we could tell them how to maybe just, switch some puzzle pieces around, we could probably make 2 good teams out of these rosters. Yeah. We just kind of mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But with that said, I'm going to have to trust the Astros just a tiny bit more. Just like this much more.
Just a little bit more.
On paper, I absolutely trust the Astros more. I don't think there's like a question on paper, but I know about Cardinals devil magic. I've been a Cardinals fan for a really long time, and based on vibes, I would go with the Cardinals.
We now have a player belt though, Kelsey. So the vibes are getting better. Okay. Yeah. It's like one of those like big like wrestling belts. Like it looks like the big Mauricio Dubon made it for the clubhouse, and they have one for the position player and one for the pitcher. And I was quite upset that we only recently learned about this, and apparently it had been going on for quite a while. These are the stories that I need, people. Yep. Like, you can give me the stats all day, that's fine, but I need the vibes.
This is the content. But also,
they're only a couple $100.
Mauricio Dubon credits him being able to get exposure and play in the major leagues to Adam Wainwright and his charity coming over and helping his community in Honduras. So really, by association, the Cardinals have like helped out the Astros vibes.
There you go.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
I always try to make weird things like take credit for other things, but I think I made that
one work.
Circle there.
He made the loop there. He made the loop. All right, baseball bananas. I got 3 questions for you guys. We can go quickly. Then we'll get the diamond notes here with it. Susie, you should know this well because of you watch it on the video game, so you know all the backdrops very well. What's your favorite MLB stadium backdrop? Is it your hometowns? For me, it's the Pirates. I love the look of that yellow bridge with all that out there. You guys got one that maybe stands out to you? Kelsey, you got one that stands out to you there?
I mean, I would say PNC as well. I haven't been there, but it's like number 1 on my list of where I would like to go. Oracle also looks really beautiful.
That was good too.
But is there anything that beats that classic St. Louis arch? I do think Busch Stadium is baseball heaven. So there's 3 answers.
I like her. Can she be on more?
Baseball heaven, Susie. Baseball heaven is the Astros. Do they have the Enron train? No. Do we have the train out there?
No. I mean, we do have the train, and the train is very cool.
It is.
But I think it would probably have to be like aesthetic wise. It would probably have to be Oracle or PNC. And I've not visited either. I've just seen beautiful, awesome pictures. And so those 2 are on my bucket list to go visit at some point in time, though. So, although Camden's
a good one.
Oh no, she was gonna say I think she was probably gonna say that her and I are gonna go to Camden Yards together in about 2 months. She's gonna come here, and we're gonna go to Citizens Bank to see the Phillies and the Astros play, and then I think they play at Camden Yards first. But we haven't been to Camden Yards yet either, and that's like an obvious one that I think every true baseball fan has to check off the list.
Yeah, that one kind of gets forgotten about now because it's been around so long, but it was kind of considered at that time, like the jewel of new stadiums, and kind of was to Susie's point. I've been to Oracle. I remember with Pac Bell many times out there. It's a great one. I've took the ferry to the game. It's a great. Obviously, that one's going to be a good stadium for anybody to go to. Hopefully, Susie jumps back on here in just a second here with it. Josh, what do you got?
So since they took all mine,
and
I mean all of mine, because literally those were the ones I had on my list.
The Royals I had for a little bit too. Because
God dang it, Darren couldn't even let me get it out of my mouth. I want to go to Kaufman before they close it. I've never been to Kaufman. It looks beautiful in the video games. It looks beautiful on TV. I want to go to Kaufman before they tear it down. But since you said Kaufman, the other one I want to go to is actually there's 2 more I want to go to. That's Fenway, because of its historical value. And it pains me to say this, Wrigley.
The Wrigley would be one up there as well. No doubt.
I just want to go just to say I got to see a game there. That's the only reason I really want to go there.
Yeah. I've been to Wrigley so many times, and it never loses its charm. Like, honestly, even as a Cardinals fan, I absolutely love it. The area around Wrigley is really cool too. And it's just a good vibes for any baseball fan.
So Busch 2 or Busch 3 for you? Because I know you're not old enough to ever been in Busch 1.
Right. So I've actually been to Busch 2 many more times because I went so much more as a child than I've gone in adulthood because I lived in New York City. I lived in Chicago. Now I live in Jersey. So I haven't been near St. Louis. I grew up a few hours from St. Louis, but I went at least to a couple games every summer growing up. And I think I would say Busch 2 only because like the memories that I have there are like such core memories. And, I still have very I can picture myself there and the feelings of being there and everything. And it's really what made me a fan. And I haven't had enough time to really, I don't know, I've been to Ballpark Village and stuff a handful of times, and maybe it's just that I haven't spent enough time there. I think the Hall of Fame Museum is super cool and certain things about it are really neat, but the area that it's in St. Louis, other than what is right around the ballpark, is not the best. And I made the mistake of staying downtown the last time I went, and I think that kind of tainted my experience. I now know to stay a little bit further out. But yeah, that's why I would say that was a long-winded way to say Busch 2.
So I love Busch 2 because for me it's more of a Coliseum setup.
Yeah.
But Busch 3 is cool because of it's a very open setup. I don't like the fact that it holds 20,000 less people. For that, so that to me is a problem. I love Ballpark Village, to be honest with you, but I only go to day games because I am not getting caught in St. Louis at night. Just like I won't get caught in any major city late at night anymore, just because I'm a dad now and I don't need anything to happen. But Busch 3 is a lot of fun. Like go to a Sunday game at Busch 3. Get there 2 hours early when the gates open. You'll have a blast. Like, I promise you'll have a blast. Make sure you go to the top deck and you can get beers for $5 before the game starts.
Well, that I did figure out.
So I basically go to the top and watch everything from the top and drink beer, and then I don't drink beer the rest of the game.
The view is awesome up there, too. Yeah.
Great.
We did standing room only for opening day a couple years ago, and it was awesome. Like, I wanted nothing more from it. So, yeah, I totally agree.
But no, yeah. But I mean, Busch 3 has its perks. But yeah, Busch 2 is always going to be my first baseball stadium. I do have an honorable mention for a very, very nice ballpark that has a very, very bad team and a very, very bad front office. Great American. Not a bad seat in the house. You get Skyline Coney dogs while you're watching the game, and it's a nice field. It's a nice stadium.
Yeah, Reds is
it's a good little setup. So,
yeah, that's a good call right there.
And I've probably seen more games at Great American than I have Busch 2 or Busch 3 because I grew up in Indianapolis, and it was closer for us to drive to Cincinnati. So my family vacations were 3-game sets. We'd leave on a Friday morning or a Friday afternoon early, make it down there for Friday night's game, go to Saturday night's game, go to Sunday morning's game, then drive back to Indy Sunday night. So I bet you I've been to 15, 20 games at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, that's always been on my list, but I haven't been there. It's like just far enough away from wherever I've lived that it's, a good commitment. Got to stay overnight.
Now you got some New York you can hit up a little bit, it sounds like.
Yes, I have been to Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. Gotcha. I actually like Citi Field better than Yankee Stadium.
Okay. All right. So that's not.
Don't normally hear that.
Don't hear that much at all. All right, let's get to it. Diamond notes here. Peter Gammons, if we know him in the world there. All right, things that caught my attention this week. A's Kyle McCann gets called out on a bizarre play yesterday where the guy crosses home plate, he touches him, and the umpire has to rule him out as a real. Here's what happened on the play yesterday. Just at the end, you'll see it here.
Now, so what you have here,
but he misses home plate,
is Alvarez having scored and touched home plate, and how he will touch McCann and send him back to home plate.
You can't touch him.
Plate, but
he pushed him back, so as a result, they called him out. Thought that was an interesting play from the week. I haven't seen that before. I don't know. That was an odd one for me. I didn't know that was, I guess, the forward motion. I don't know.
Yeah, so because he was touched by Ooh.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I got to think if he ran into him, maybe that's different. But maybe because he pushed him back to home plate, that's where the umpire said he assisted him. I guess that was the ruling on the play. So I thought that was an interesting play from the week. And when Diaz on Sunday Night Baseball gets ejected for foreign substance. And then I don't know if you guys saw the play with Justin Turner at second base by chance. He was sliding into second. And as he was sliding into second, his helmet comes off, and he ends up getting safe as a result of the play. So it's such a weird thing because it basically slides. His helmet falls off, the ball hits the helmet, or the guy tags the helmet, but they ruled that the helmet was off of him. It almost was like a shield for him, and he was able to kind of so I'll get it up on the screen here with it.
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, this is a good one here. So let me get it up here for you guys on the screen here. He ends up getting that's second with it. Here we go.
Way out in front of the plate, going for second is Turner. Good throw down, and they got him. Yeah, that helped. Nice job by David Fry. Weird one, Rick. The tag got the helmet.
Oh.
Safe.
Now, the question is the helmet part of the body? I think he's going to be safe.
You will not see this very
often. It's on his body.
So that was the play right there. So that's where you're at with it. So very interesting play. Like, what? It just kind of like, how do you use that to a strategic point? But I hadn't seen that. So those were my diamond notes from the week. Dave Roberts also says that that Mr. Ohtani might be taking it off. So we get Susie back.
She's back.
So.
Oh, no, we can't hear her. She let me know that her cats unplugged all of her stuff. So that's
Those
what happened.
dang
That's why we
cats.
lost her.
Oh, she's got a video of it.
Who knows what's happening now? But yeah,
Maybe I'll take her out there from it. She'll get back on in a second. Susie, does that work with the cats? Are we there?
There
she
you are.
is.
Can we hear
Here
you?
we are.
Yes,
There
we
you
are.
I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay.
Those furry
Sorry.
little friends. Those furry little friends. We got a puppy about a month ago, and as I was about 5 minutes from doing the podcast, urinated right in front of me. So in the garage here. So that's the life of when you have animals there for a while.
You get it then.
I used to have a Dalmatian. Liam Hendrick, shout out. He has a Dalmatian apparently. So,
best content of my week so far.
A 1-year-old that substitutes for a pet. It
counts,
causes me enough stress and chasing her around the house. So
That's fair.
And when I say chase, like she runs full blown runs already and
runs
climbs.
the show if she's
You just need a dog to chase her around and wear her out.
No, because then I got to worry about picking the dog poop up, and if I don't pick it up, then I got to worry about the kids stepping in it and then tracking it in the house. No dogs till the kids are older.
And then they can pick up the poop. That's what my parents made us do. It really builds character. I recommend
Big cats, they'll take out your internet. That's about all they'll do for you. What do you mean the cat flushes toilet? They don't have opposable thumbs. You ever see them eat the parents? That's always my favorite one from that movie there, the cat. How can a cat flush a toilet? That was always my favorite part of that one. So yeah, Susie, we just talked about a couple diamond notes before we get to the MLB trivia. We had the A's with the pushing incident. I don't know if you saw that where they got back.
Yeah.
Justin Turner's slide where they tagged the helmet. Just kind of a couple crazy plays. And then Edwin Diaz, the foreign substance thing, that was odd. Like, I don't know. Like, that one I didn't know what to make. Like, I do this every game. I don't know. Those were my little diamond notes. Any of those
that was before he even threw a pitch, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know they checked them before they even threw pitches.
Yeah. Well, and it's at the umpire's discretion of when they can check them. They can check them literally anytime before, during, after. But my question is when they said, yeah, no, it's too much rosin. Sir, you're literally providing me the thing that you say that I'm allowed to use, but you're not going to tell me exactly how much I'm allowed to use. So it's just this arbitrary amount that I may or may not get in trouble for later on, depending on which umpiring crew I have.
That's a problem.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, like I said, that's always a weird one. The sticky stuff things all come about. I'm sorry, that Turner one, though, it's just a once in a lifetime play. We will not see that very like I said, if you could do that to a skill, like throw the helmet off.
You know, I can't remember which game it was, but I want to say like a month or so ago, there was a Cubs player, and I can't even remember which player it was.
Pico Armstrong.
Yes, Pico Armstrong, and he had his hat off and he used the hat to touch the base, and because he was holding it, he was safe.
Yes, yeah, I do remember that one.
So the whole like the hat wasn't on him; it was still touching him. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to see a player catch
There'll be a new rule next year for that.
No, come on, baseball, do better, I think. So those are our diamond notes with it this week. Kind of some weird plays this week. That was kind of caught my attention. All right, we're in the 8th inning here. Let's see how you guys do with MLB trivia. I'll give you 3 clues if we're not familiar with the game. The hints will get hopefully a little easier as we move on. You have 3, and if you want to guess at any point, shout it out. We'll see
Darren,
if you are with it.
What era is this player from?
This
Susie,
the Susie-friendly era. Not the whole era, Susie, but at least you know of the person. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So,
okay.
All right. We'll see if
I'll
you know.
I'll still miss it.
Yes, you will. But here we go. We'll have some fun with it. Hit number 1. I played for 11 seasons from 2011 to 2021, playing for 7 teams, amassing 218 home runs, batted .241, had 640 RBIs, and I started my career, played a few years there with the Cincinnati Reds is where he started his career. So obviously they'll get a little easier as we move on, but that's our first hit. Any guesses we want to throw out there? We have a couple Cardinals fans here. Maybe there's a red that comes out, starts there. No. Do we need hit number 2? I think
it's not Billy Hamilton.
I was a 2-time All-Star in 2014, 2015. I was traded to the Chicago White Sox in 2015. I also won the Home Run Derby in 2015.
10 years ago. I don't remember that.
Get your head in the game. Let's go. We get your head in the game. Why can't you say like His name rhymes with
Oh.
this.
Go ahead, say it. You can guess multiple times.
Yes, come on, it doesn't matter. You
No. I'm not. My guess is definitely wrong, so I don't want to.
Don't want to say it. All right. Let's see. We got the comments with it. It might be with it. Hit number 3. I am currently a host once in a while.
Oh, no, now I know. Todd Frazier.
Todd.
I'm sorry,
Father.
Todd Father. I should have known.
Yes, the Todd Father is correct. Todd Frazier is the answer. Also,
so he wasn't a Red when he won the home run derby, or he was.
No.
Okay, he was a White Sox.
He got
I forgot he went to the White Sox.
That's what threw me off. Yes, I thought he was
won it on the Reds, but then got traded to the White Sox after that because the All-Star breaks after. So he did win it on the Reds. He had a great stretch with the Reds there. With finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year as well. And as always, there's a reason why he's on the trivia. So let's get him up on the big board here. Kind of a play that got him on air. So let's see this one. This resulted in an out, people. Let's see what happens.
Trying to make that diving catch, but watch as he lands on this green bag. There is a ball. That's the rubber ball. It sneaks out of the green bag. Meanwhile, the actual baseball falls into the hands of that man in the Justin Turner jersey. You see him holding it up right there. Todd Frazier knows that he's duped the umpire, so he quickly throws the ball into the stands, so they're not the wiser. Then he goes into his dugout and regales his trying to make.
Oh, there's nothing better than getting away with a crime. And,
dirty.
Wow.
That was dirty.
Wow.
I hadn't seen that one before. Usually I've seen almost everything, but that was one I hadn't seen and completely shocked me with it. Todd Frazier, not a name. Was it the podcast that gave it away for you guys? Is that what it was?
Yes, I did know that he won the home run derby, but from the way that clue was, I was thinking, oh, this was a Chicago White Sox player who won the home run derby, and that's what threw me off. But I should have guessed because that was my guess, and then I was like, no, that's wrong. He won it with the Reds.
Well, remember, you get unlimited guess, Kelsey. If you come back,
I jumbled my thoughts.
You found it.
Yeah, see, I only know Todd Frazier from Foul Territory, so it's I fail
at great on Foul Territory, and he's great as a broadcaster too.
Yeah, I really, and he was a really good player there for a few years at the Reds. So, all right,
he was a Cardinal killer too.
Yeah, he was, and I remember he hated on the Yankees. That was one of my. He hated to be on the Yankees. That was one of his things. All right, we're in the 9th inning here. I usually end it with an MLB flashback video here to kind of give you a little history of it. We don't need to test our history on it, so we get a little slide.
The Cardinals are world champs in 2011. What a ride!
This better be the one I'm thinking it is.
All right, this is a flashback. This is going to involve 2 of my favorite broadcasters probably ever to call games. One of them's not with us anymore. The other one still is out here. This involves history. It's only happened 10 times in MLB history. It's about a minute long here with it. And the same player was involved twice in this feat. And pretty crazy. The name was J.D. Drew that was involved in this feat that came twice with it. The feat was 4 straight home runs.
Yeah.
This one always blew my mind because it was the Dodgers down 9-5 in the bottom of the 9th. Not first inning, bottom of the 9th. Down 4. It's about a minute long. Let's see. It's always a little Vince Scully, so let's enjoy that here.
And a drive to center. Going back is Cameron to the track at the wall. And gone. And another drive to deep right center, and that is gone. Whoa, was that hit? So now it is 9-7. A drive into left center by Martin. That ball is carrying into the seats. 3 straight home runs. And another drive into high right center at the wall, running and watching it go out. Believe it or not. 4 consecutive home runs.
That one is hit well. That one is on its way. And goodbye.
What you're reacting to?
That ball is hit deep. J.D. Drew has gotten a hold of one. On its way and out of here.
The second home run.
Now low. And this game is going to be tied up. That one's headed for New Hampshire. That ball is hit, and that one is on its way. Number 4 in a row. And the Red Sox have gone ahead.
I had to get those up. That one I've had in the chamber for probably a couple of years, but I felt like this was the right time. And that one, that Dodgers one, I just remember Baseball Tonight was a big show for me. The update 4 in a row. I was like, are you kidding me? 4 in a row with that. And anytime I get an excuse to put Vin Scully on the show, it's always a good chance for me to get him up on the air with it there. So those were our flashback video of the week. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your evening to join us on 7th Inning Stretch and chatting a little baseball with us. And really appreciate you guys taking the time, Susie, Kelsey, to do that with us.
Thanks for having us on. We appreciate
you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Had a ton of fun.
Now, you guys know we do this big thing for the Home Run Derby, right?
What's that?
We do a live stream. Like, we just hang out and talk the Home Run Derby for the entire Derby.
Yeah.
You guys are more than welcome to pop in if you'd like, just to chat baseball and have a good time with us.
Yes, that'll be fun.
If you're not too busy. I mean, I know you guys are like superstars and you guys are booked all the time, but
Josh knows who he speaks to, Kelsey. So
until I am on the roster for the All-Star Celebrity Softball game, I will be here hanging out with you instead. How about that?
That sounds good. I like it.
Let's put it this way. I would know your name more than I do any of the other ones that were on the list this year that I saw. So there you go with that one. That's a good one in this. So, all right. So for Josh Edwards, I'm Darren Breyer. We got Kelsey and Susie with us. Thank you again for taking some time to join us. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.